Let's talk about the unofficial Minecraft books.
Oh, I know there are plenty.
Diary of a Minecraft Zombie.
That is the most shameless cash grab that mixes everything that a middle schooler could possibly be interested in.
I do want to point out Diary of a Minecraft Zombie is written by what I'm hoping is a pseudonym, Zach Zombie.
I wouldn't be surprised if the writer is absolutely 12.
We also have the Wither King Wither War Book 1, A Farlands Adventure. Diary of Steve the Noob 1. Not book 1, just 1. Under a very bad picture of Steve is written in what appears to be italicized Comic Sans, Steve the Noob. Oh, nope, Steve the Noob is a pseudonym. He has a whole biography here.
That's just beautiful.
Joseph?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Steve is a computer fanatic and Minecraft lover of many years. He has been playing with Lego since 5 years old, so 2 days ago, so Minecraft came very naturally to him. He loves taking things apart and putting them back together in different configurations, like bodies. When not playing Minecraft or tinkering, Steve can be found sleeping. Though not a writer by profession, because again, he is 5 years old, Steve has greatly enjoyed writing fan fiction about Minecraft. Thanks to the support from readers and reviewers, Steve will keep on writing these fun stories.
Hey everyone, I am Joseph here with my good buddy Eric.
Whoop whoop.
And we are here with Speculation Station, the show where we take a video game, be it a single title or a franchise, and determine what it would look like as at least a tolerable video game movie.
We're going for a solid like 55% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, which, let's be honest, video game movies as a whole don't really have that good of a record.
Yeah, we're trying to beat the average.
So we're going for the hopeful positives here.
Exactly. Today we are talking about Minecraft, which is our first game that is actually already in production to be a movie.
There is something that's interesting about Minecraft as a whole, is how popular the series has gotten just in general.
I think everyone knows what Minecraft is, at least in concept, conceptually.
I mean, if my mother knows what it is.
Yeah, like my mother knows that it's like Legos. So, I mean, she's not wrong. All right. So, where do we start with a Minecraft movie? Because there's no story in Minecraft, like none at all.
What was your... I mean, to you, what is Minecraft? And that's not like the rhetorical question of just like, what is this? Yeah. It's like, when you play Minecraft, what's your goal?
Well, Minecraft is such a weird, I mean, in a good way, game, because everyone, especially now, back in the day, it was somewhat more homogenized, but now it's everyone can do whatever they want. So if you like exploring and adventuring, now they have, this new Nether and villages everywhere. You can do some raids, stuff like that. Or if you like collecting stuff, I mean, you could always do that, but now you can still do it. Personally, I like building.
When I was younger, I really wanted to build, but then I realized I sucked at building in the creative sense. Like, if somebody gives me blueprints, I will gladly do the monotonous work of going through and filling out, a whole area.
Yeah, you down there doing the grunt work.
I would not care. I'd take the full role. I'd come out and be, "Your stone, sire," and be a little goblin man.
I found a diamond, master. Might I keep it?
No.
Diamonds are for builders. Take your iron pick.
For me now, it's very much the sense of adventure.
I'm more than fine with kind of leaning more towards the adventure stuff. And before we start getting into the whole
meat and potatoes,
meat and potatoes, and like visual aspect and all that kind of stuff, I do want to like kind of get just a basis first.
Yeah.
So in the game, I assume we want to bring out at least one of the bosses of Minecraft.
Oh, definitely.
Which there's kind of 3.5.
Half?
Well, kind of. You have the Ender Dragon, you have the Wither, you have the Guardian, or Elder Guardian.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the Pillager Raid, which kind of counts as a boss.
I guess in their own right, those are all separate antagonists because they all
Right.
serve different purposes. That's going to be a little harder to translate into the movie, so I guess we just choose one of them?
I mean, Ender Dragon's probably the safest and most iconic. So
Yeah.
I'm more than fine with that. Maybe we throw a pillager raid in there
Oh, definitely.
just to break it up.
Yeah, it'd be smart
Yeah,
to
they're
throw
like
them in
they're
there.
like the quote unquote bad humans, or I guess bad villagers,
Testificates.
because they gotta pee in their name.
What?
I call them pestificates because they're pests. Get out of here. All right, so let's then get into visual style.
I definitely think we should go animation, and I'm going to go ahead and say 3D animation.
I am more than fine with that. Are we talking like basically Minecraft story mode visuals?
Mm-mm.
No.
I think we should go at least a step or two up above that.
Kind of like the old Minecraft animations back in the day.
Yes, which, once again, if you want to have a good laugh, don't go search for those.
Why not? There's some good ones.
There are some good ones. There are
There's
also
some
some
bad
bad
ones.
ones.
Like Captain Sparkles stuff.
Kim Sparkles is good.
Let's talk setting.
All right.
I think it should be set on a server.
Okay.
So there's a bit of kind of a meta narrative.
So would the characters be aware of that, or would the characters be referencing
I think so.
things? Okay, that's fine. I think that works great. Yeah.
Could be, yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Alrighty.
So we know it's set on a server. We know we're gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon at some point, probably towards the end. But other than that, we got nothing. So you want to start with a story, or you want to start with a character?
So let's start with character, and I got two branching ideas.
Hit me.
Idea number one is you mentioned it being a server, so I'm assuming that means there are going to be multiple players. There are going to be multiple Steves, for a lack of names right now.
Yeah. Players.
Right. With these multiple players, are we wanting them to be introduced immediately? Or do we want to have it to where there is that sense of loneliness at first? Not like in a scary, bad way, but like the sense of loneliness that most people have when they first play the game, which is like, hey, you're in this world by yourself.
What's branch number 2?
Branch number 2 would be that they start with the people. They start with the other players, and there's kind of a group set out on this mission thing. You could say more or less the party, going on a quest.
All right. Well, mine is kind of combines the two.
Okie dokie.
I don't like it, but let me say it anyway, just in case. Well, when you go to most servers these days, there's like a lobby.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that people are there.
I know what you're getting at, I think. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, well, it just depends on how large we want to make this server. So if it's like a small, like 10, 15 person server, then obviously probably not. But if it's like a giant server, you got 1,000 people online.
We make it an anarchy server. When the movie starts, you see nothing but devastation and floating lava streams.
A character just dies 40 times in a row to some guy camping with a bow.
Yeah. That's the real experience.
So we could go with that.
But when you think of a lobby, you genuinely think of Minecraft servers that are built with a purpose other than survival. And I think the movie, since we're going to be having this sense of progression that reaches to the Ender Dragon, we should represent it as this survival.
What if it's like a Minecraft server that's past its heyday? And our character kind of, he's new to playing, but he kind of reunites the people, I guess.
That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
because I feel like it's almost a postmodernist approach, because like everyone knows what Minecraft is, so it's kind of like a Spider-Man origin story in a way.
Let me toss this around, and you tell me if this is what you're thinking or not at all.
Sure.
What if so we could include sort of a lobby thing, but we could include a lobby that is in disarray.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Basically, he spawns, however we want to introduce that, in this city. And it's a city that we could go the simple route and just say it's like a medieval looking city, but it's ruined. There's blocks missing. There's places where, griefers have done things. But it's not too drastic. It just kind of looks like an aesthetically pleasing ruined city. And
it's clearly abandoned. Like, you could have like banners waving gently, and it's like, whoosh.
Right. There could be not to like imply that we have to put a message in any of these films, but there could be this message as the character progresses and meets these people and becomes friends with these people. There could have been something that kind of caused them to not build together anymore. So they're all doing their own thing. They're all building their own stuff. And so we get to see these builds. We get to see these constructions. But we see that maybe it's a building game. We could have somebody who's good at redstone, but then other people, maybe they just have different art styles that they go with.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you can have a bunch of characters kind of have facets. Mm-hmm. So like maybe you have a griefer. You have a guy who just really loves building pixel art for some ungodly reason. You have
tells me you got something
builder.
Against pixel artists.
You have a good builder named me. You have someone who's like really into the survival, or who's really into like they're super rich, like they got everything. So you could just like we were talking about earlier, you have all these different reasons why people play Minecraft, and then I guess their differences is kind of like our Overcooked movie in reverse a little bit, where they've already split up, and then they have to come back together.
What I do think we could do to make it different enough from our last idea, from our last movie idea, would be the goal is not to reunite everybody. The goal is to get everybody to at least acknowledge, that like, I don't know, this may sound a little strange, but to acknowledge the value in the different play styles.
I would say the goal maybe shouldn't necessarily be to unite the people, but through the main character's actions, the people become united.
I like that because
so it's a little more subtle.
You could have
like that. That's not the goal, but through as the character reaches the goal, people inadvertently come together.
I like that because then you could basically set up the character as this naive, like you said, a first-time player who's entering this place that's been around for a lot longer than he's been playing the game and a lot longer than he would realize.
Right.
And as he progresses and meets these people, they see this naivety and they think back to what they enjoyed when they first came. And not everybody's gonna think of it differently. But you have some people, I think you should have like a character, like I said, who is the griefer, who tries to manipulate the person to say, look, it's much more fun to do something this way. And they maybe are each imprinting on this character in a different way.
But the character is like good at heart.
Right, but he pulls the good things from the other characters that are expressing good things. So you'd have one person maybe who is just really deep into redstone or pixel art or whatever, and they voice that.
I like how you put those on the same level, like those are equal.
But I'm saying,
like those take the same amount of skill.
What I'm implying is that you have these different art styles. You have these different.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're equal. I'm just saying they're different.
Pixel art's harder than redstone.
I think the naive character gets imprinted on in both positive ways and negative ways, but then uses the good of their own heart to decide what path really they want to take in the end. And I think the characters with good intentions start coming back together because of that. I think that's a good route.
Yeah, and then at the end we can have like a scene of them like rebuilding the lobby or something. It's called Full Circle.
This comes back to kind of two things. It goes back to the point of bringing in the bosses. When we have a world like this, you and I know that if you go into a world that's existed for a while, the Nether and the End are just decimated.
They are wastelands, yeah.
I don't think we should include that.
I actually have a way we can make it realistic.
Okay.
So, I think we can all agree that defeating the Ender Dragon is a pretty big accomplishment.
Yes.
Especially the new Ender Dragon who has purple breath. Back in the day, he didn't have purple breath. He just kind of flew around and it tried to yeet you.
Tried. Succeeded.
But you can respawn the Ender Dragon now.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe, this might be a little hokey, but maybe the player is like, wants to fight the Ender Dragon on his own or something. There's something there.
Well, that could work as like a rite of passage.
And so maybe some of the older players are like, I remember when I fought the Ender Dragon, I'll help you.
Right. I think the characters should be represented by, once again, we could allude to the fact that maybe they all are young people, but in the world they are representing different characters that they've constructed. So, in the story sense, like the role plays it, you could have one character who's kind of like, his skin's a lizard or something, and so he's a lizard person. And then you could have...
That's a bit self-referential, isn't it?
Hold on a minute.
You have someone who's a goose with a crown.
No, I'm not kidding.
Those are our Minecraft skins.
Those are our Minecraft skins, by the way.
For everyone who doesn't know that.
So it's not like, obviously, we're not hearing the voice of young adults. We're hearing the voice of an old man. We're hearing the voice of a lizard person.
Right.
We're hearing the voice of a king, you know.
We're hearing the voice of an anime girl in a hoodie.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, bud, but you gotta have it.
Yeah, it's gotta exist in there somewhere.
We don't have an option here.
I think it would be really funny, though.
You have Captain Sparkles. He's just there.
Yeah, it could work. He's the king. He's the king of the server.
King Sparkles.
I don't think it should be implied that the world that is the characters existing in is fake. I don't think it should be ever said.
Like we don't imply that it's a video game.
Right.
I think we can maybe have some characters like logging in or logging out.
Right. No, we got one character. Throughout the movie, if you look in the bottom... if you look at the bottom left corner of the whole film, you'll see one character keeps dying to different animals and creatures.
We actually closed captioned the entire movie in the chat.
That would, as weird as it sounds.
That was a joke. No, that was a joke.
I know.
Please don't like
a joke.
That. I think you can allude to the gamier aspects of it, while not necessarily calling it out as a game. Like
Right.
You have someone who's an expert at Minecraft, so like he or she knows everything about the game. And so maybe the player's like, how do you make a pickaxe? And they're like, well, you take 2 sticks and you put them in your inventory like this.
Yep.
Well, so it's not like, I gotta go to class tomorrow. But, it's still very much a video game.
Okay.
Even if no one ever says the word video game.
All right. Yeah, it's almost indicative of, and I know this is a bad example here, but, like Sword Art Online, where... while they're in that world, they know it's a video game, but at the same time, they're responding to everything as if that's just commonplace.
They're in too deep.
I don't know. This sounds really campy to say, but we could imply at the end that, the actual people behind the characters feel a lot better after the events that have occurred.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe the main character says something like, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then they log off or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the main character.
Okay.
I think... in the vein of everyone having a custom skin, our character should be Steve or Alex.
I personally, once again, not to completely say, here's another male protagonist, but I think we should go with Steve because Steve at this point is the more recognizable.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
On any level.
He's the more, he's iconic.
Yeah.
And Alex is less iconic because she's been around less.
Yeah.
Well, should the character be named Steve or is that a little much?
I don't know. I think I don't want... I'm on the fence about the characters having username names because...
Right.
Now, we could go the
What's
route...
up, Xmaster94?
We could go the route and say that their username names are their full names, but if you've done anything with people in a game, you start to call them by shortened versions of their usernames.
I don't hate that.
And that way, the characters will have simple names, but we can assume that there's bigger, stupid names behind them.
Yeah, and they're not like actual names.
No.
But they're kind of nicknames. It's just like, that's Grunko. He builds pixel art. We don't talk to Grungo.
Then there's Skringo.
Skringo, he does redstone. He's cool.
Tink, tink, tink.
But don't talk to Grungo. He built giant funny sands from Undertale. He looms over the server. Grungo. I don't love naming him Steve. I think it should be a nickname, but we can just say it for now.
For now, it is Steve because of what he represents.
So Steve is new player.
I think we could subtly reference the fact that his Steve skin is the reason why everybody knows he's new.
Yeah. So what does Stevie want?
He wants to have an adventure. I think he is just getting into the game, so he doesn't entirely know the extent of the game. He wants to experience it for all it's worth, and because of that, he's going to just kind of go through this world, gaining information from the people he meets.
I was gonna say this is a jumping off point, but
Sure.
maybe like, obviously this isn't true in game, but maybe the Ender Dragon like gives a sword or something. Maybe they've modded the server that the Ender Dragon gives a netherite sword to whoever kills it.
Well, not to say that we go with the adventure idea, but he goes in. I think there needs to be somebody he meets fairly early on who expresses the importance of defeating the Ender Dragon directly correlated to him being a noob.
It's the quintessential Minecraft experience.
I don't
And it's
know.
like, maybe they like size him up or something. He's like in a tavern or whatever, and they're serving buckets of milk. And it's like, oh, you haven't even beaten the Ender Dragon?
I kind of like
go
that.
do it.
I like the sense of it be like, this kind of like, well, I don't know exactly, but that sounds like something I could do. I'm pretty sure, and he's got this very confident, positivity to him.
Maybe Steve's flaw is that he's very proud. He's like, I bet I could go kick the dragon's tail.
They tell him, well, okay, fine, prove it to us. Go bring back the egg, because you can do that. Once you kill it, it drops the egg.
I mean, it doesn't, but
yeah, it does.
it only drops it once.
Shh, it drops the egg.
You're right.
Okay, let's say egg just for the sake of this situation. Go bring back the egg.
And he's like, everyone's got one. That's how you know you've made a name for yourself on the server.
He's like, I can do it. I can do it 5 times. And the guy's like, all right, cool. Yeah, go do it. And so the guy leaves. He's walking out, and then some guy stops him and says, wait a minute. You don't know, you can't do it by yourself. And obviously we know that you can. We know as actual gamers
I think Steve should try and fail, because the Ender Dragon is
I don't
very
know about
hard.
that, because then that kind of puts him... That kind of brings it to this roller coaster point where he already gets to this final point and then fails and falls all the way back down and then has to work his way back up. And with that, it's like, well, what's the build up then to getting to the end? Because if he gets to it and fails once, how are we going to get him there and then have him struggle to get back to that point other than meeting new people?
Here it is. Are you ready?
Okay.
Here it is. Let's say at the beginning, Steve's walking through the Minecraft lobby. It's ruined. It's bad. And he meets the griefer.
Oh.
And the griefer, we know the griefers. He's trolling. But Steve doesn't know it. But maybe the griefer tries to tempt him, and Steve is untemptable. And so the griefer kind of takes it personally. And so he starts to mess with Steve. Maybe Steve makes it to the stronghold pretty early. As he jumps in, we see the griefer kind of sneaking in behind him. And he gets to the end, and he loses to the dragon, and then the griefer blows up the end portal.
I'm going to take that and tweak it just a little bit.
Yeah, go nuts.
I think it shouldn't be that the griefer takes it personally. I think that's just the griefer's whole thing was
maybe not
the
personally.
griefer
Yeah.
could be the one that gets him, who does tempt him, and it's the character's pride that says, yeah, I can do that. And so we see he gets to this point, he gets in this little hut, builds up this hut. There are people who are kind of looking at him, and the griefer's the one that comes in and plays the good guy, plays the,
I like that.
People are saying you're a noob. If you go kill the Ender Dragon, that'll prove it to all of them. And man, I know you can do it. I just wanted to let you know.
All right.
So you got the griefer who tempts him, and he does fall down. He says, okay, I can do that. So he goes into the portal, and that's when the griefer just, messes it up.
And guys, we all know you can't blow up the end portal, but in this case, you can. Or what you could do, instead of him blowing up the blocks itself, maybe he steals all the end pearls. Eyes of Ender.
Yeah.
And so that's Steve's quest. He has to go get the eyes.
Instead
of finding another stronghold. I like either. I think either we can still have the same kind of
instead of stealing them, we could just break them. I think that implication of breaking
them. Oh, yeah,
them,
you can't
break them in
the
games. I think he breaks them because then we can actually have him go to the nether for the purpose of getting the stuff.
I'm good with that.
We don't have to obviously show him making them, but we have the point where he has to go with his friends and they get there and they get the stuff.
Well, you gotta get the blaze rods, yeah.
Yeah. When he starts out in the server, it's all ruined. He finds a little plot where there's a tree. And so he builds this little thing. And I think at that point, you've got, once again, very few people are actually in this city still. But there maybe is I think there should be at least maybe 2 people that we see and the griefer.
every server I've been on, there's always like one guy who just like really wants to make sewers. He's just like really, I don't know what it is. He always wants to just make sewers. So we gotta have the sewer guy.
I agree. Do you want him to be one of the ridiculers? It's like, what is this noob doing?
Or just like, he doesn't really have a character. It's just, that's a sewer guy. He just really likes building sewers. Let's talk about the griefer a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he or she should be the bad guy.
I think it should be she, and I think it should be an anime girl in a hoodie.
They are always anime girls, aren't they, huh?
The griefer could be an anime girl. I think
It's fun. It's funny and also accurate.
Yeah.
I think we should make the griefer be the main bad guy.
Okay.
Kind of. Where it's like, and her whole thing is she just loves trolling.
Yeah.
So maybe she blew up the Eyes of Ender just to like mess with Steve.
Yeah.
And Steve took it personally. He says, I'm gonna prove her wrong. And maybe the griefer, oxymoronically, has like a really nice base. It's just like, it's got like a bunch of traps around it and stuff like that. And maybe they have to sneak into it at some point and get something.
I like that. Well, I think here's the thing. The pearls get stolen. Like, that's the thing. And so I think, I know not to sound weird, but I think for at least the early, say the first quarter of the film.
Yeah.
It's going to be that connection of Steve starts building his house, griefer comes in, pulls this prank, gets him killed by the Ender Dragon. Steve peers right back, at Spawn.
Right. I think the griefer we don't know she's a griefer at first until she like breaks the Eyes of Ender. So maybe she says, "Hey,
hold on. I'm going to go back on my suggestion. I think she should steal them, and then when Steve comes back, Steve could not necessarily see her steal them, but maybe ask sewer guy or something. Like, yeah, she took them. And so
what's with you and sewer guy?
I like sewer guy.
We could have other characters than sewer guy and griefer. I think I like the idea of the tavern, even though, maybe there's a villager bartender, like someone's captured a bartender or a villager in there.
I like that you got this bartender, and I think it's just, it hates the fact that it's trapped there.
Yeah,
and we
reference that really it's trapped there. Out. It's like, what do you want?
There you go.
I think maybe the tavern, Steve's getting ridiculed by sewer guy and his the sewer boys.
The sewer, I like that.
And maybe the griefer's there, and she acts like she's taking pity on him. She says, "Oh, you're new here. Well, have you fought the Ender Dragon?"
Yeah.
And Steve says, "No." And she says, "Well, if you want to be anything on the server, you're gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon." And then, she leads him to the stronghold, and maybe she's the one who gives a little bit of exposition about the background of the server, if there is any. And then, like right at the moment Steve goes in, she like pushes him in and blows up the portal. Yeah. And then Steve has nothing in the end, and the dragon kills him.
I like that. And then he responds just to see her running away with the poils. Because you wanted to have a reason for him to go to her base.
Well, I think maybe the thing I don't like about her stealing the pearls.
Yeah, or the Eyes of Ender.
Is that
I'm going to say pearls,
sorry,
but I mean
the
Eyes of Ender. Sorry.
Is that they're pretty, easy to get. So it's not like they're four of a kind or anything.
That's true.
I think they should maybe go steal something else. Like, I was thinking maybe a Totem of Undying.
Well, and we incorporate that as part of the quest. So I get that then. I like that.
See, now I'm going back on what I just said. I think maybe Steve knows where the stronghold is when he respawns. He runs over there, sprint hopping. Just in time to see her fly away with an elytra. And then he goes back in to the portal and he sees the eyes are missing. Because he wanted to go back and get his stuff.
Right.
But now he can't. And he says, "Oh, that rascally old griefer."
Here's an idea for the progression. Using all of this and combining it into one thing.
Do it.
He appears in the server.
Yeah.
We see a small little intro. And I'm not saying this has to happen with the opening credits, but it's something that's very subtle. I think we could even have it be akin to how, those 70s and 80s movies would start, where you've got a song playing, and as the song's playing, you're getting slowly introduced to some concepts in the film. And so for this, it would be the sake of, you got some song playing or something, and you've got this Steve appearing in this world, kind
Yeah.
of looking around.
Huey Lewis starts playing.
Yeah, oh, totally. And he takes down a tree halfway, starts kind of building a little dirt hut, and exploring a little bit more.
He progresses. Maybe he's got like stone tools.
Sure.
And then like it's whatever, sunset or nighttime, even though nighttime's dangerous. But he goes to the tavern and like he feels proud of himself. He's like, I did good today. I got stone tools. I got a couple pieces of iron. I'm set. And then that's when he starts getting ridiculed. And then that's when the griefer takes pity, quote unquote, pity on him.
Right.
I like that.
After the prank happens, and he realizes he can't go back and get his stuff.
Yeah.
He goes back to his little mud hut.
And what if he goes mining at the beginning and he finds like one diamond, and he's so happy, and like that's why he goes to celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe he's showing it off. He's like, guys, look what I got. And they're like, you got one diamond. Oh, look at Warren Buffett over here. He dies. He tries to go back to the portal. He sees the griefer flying away. He connects the dots and he says, beans. And then he goes back to his dirt hut and he's very sad. And that is Act 1.
Yeah. I think then we introduce actual first friend.
Yeah. Badass female.
He's going to be wary of people like the griefer. So you have this female individual who comes up, and he's like, oh, shut up. I don't want to talk to you. He's kind of upset.
Maybe he holds this stone sword up and it's like, don't come any closer.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll fight you. And then she pulls out like a diamond sword or a netherite sword. She's like, all right, let's take it down a bit. Let's take it down a bit.
You put down your weapon. I'll put down my. You calm down. Calm down. I'll do.
I think she should be a nomad.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Like she's got a horse, because there are horses.
There are horses.
Or maybe a mule, so it's got the inventory. Why does she come across Steve's house?
Maybe there's kind of a slight little scavenger situation. She's just looking to see if there's anything new.
Maybe he doesn't have like a torch or anything, so she thinks it's abandoned.
Yeah,
and
she's gonna go check it out.
Digs out the wall, and then Steve's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, then she could. I think she could be harsher, a lot harsher than the griefer came off to be.
Yeah, so it's like
he's still weary, but she's being very genuine. She's just being rude because she's like, "What? You don't have a torch? Why? Okay, you can't blame me for not coming in here when you don't have a torch set up." And then there's this kind of slow realization by Steve, like, "Wait,
what's happening?
What's going on?"
What if the nomad and the griefer are sisters? They're both princesses.
The rightful rulers of the kingdom, daughters of Captain Sporticles.
I think the nomad. We should have that scene where Steve draws a sword on her, and then she takes pity on him, and she's like, "I know someone who can come help you." Should she lead him somewhere, like to kind of a safe haven?
I think she should be like, "Look, are you serious about this? Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to go after this Ender Dragon?" He would have maybe partially a reason to say, "I don't want to deal with that. I don't like it." I don't know. Because you think, realistically, after being pranked, he'd be like, "I don't want to have anything to do with that."
I think it literally is just like he wants to prove himself. And so we just kind of hammer home in the first act. Time after time, everyone doubts him. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're just a little noob. You don't know what you're doing." And he says, "I'm gonna get the Ender Dragon egg. I'm gonna prove it to everyone."
Since he's still kind of like trying to make himself seem big. He's doing the cat thing. He's puffing himself up. When he's talking to the nomad,
he's got the broad shoulders.
His arms actually extend outward. He basically says something like, "Oh yeah, well I was taking on the Ender Dragon one-on-one, and I almost got it,
He didn't. But
he like voices it like this. And maybe she brings that from like, "Really?" Like, sure.
She's like, "Yeah, I doubt that."
But are you legit, like, do you want to? After he kind of tones down a bit, maybe there's like this sense of like sadness, like, "Well, yeah, you're right." But he doesn't say anything. It's just kind of like he just kind of backs off. You see him get sad. That's when she takes pity and she's like,
"Yeah, I don't think she should like journey with him at first."
No.
But I think she should take pity on him. Maybe give him like a stack of beef or something. They're always giving out food to the newbies.
I think she should like to point him in the right direction. Say, look.
Yeah, she's like, look, if you really want to do this, go to these coordinates. Maybe she gives him a map.
There we go. I like that.
She's like, follow this map to this castle or whatever. Go talk to blank and blank. He can help you.
Yeah.
And then we think that's the last we see of the Nomad, but she pops up.
Yeah,
later.
of course.
And she's the princess of the king, and the griefer's her sister.
Her sister. Sends him to basically this builder guy. Like some guy who we get to see who's got this magnificent build that's well kept. He's been building it, by himself for a while. Maybe there's parts of it that are unfinished, but it's not in ruin. It's just being worked on. And so you got this person, and since they're so focused on building, they don't really do the adventuring anymore. So they've got extra stuff.
But then it's like, why would he help Steve?
There'd be this situation where he would be explaining what his goal is at that point. Steve, not like he would be reciting this to everyone he meets, but he could basically arrange, like, Griefer tricked me. And I think, let's say the Nomad didn't know about the Griefer, right? All the Nomad knows is that Steve is prideful, wants to go defeat the Ender Dragon, right?
Yeah.
I think Steve would tell this builder guy about the Griefer, and the builder guy, being a builder, is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to help you with that.
I do like that, but I think he should be almost kind of, not burnt out, but uninterested in adventuring.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And maybe Steve does something in his naivete, and like he accidentally, like, a creeper is going after him and blows up a wall, and then a bunch of mobs come in, and the builder's like, what have you done?
Yeah, I like
and so
that.
they start fighting them, and then the builder's like, this is fun.
Yeah, I think Steve would be freaking out. I think it would be amazing to... Steve's scared out of his wits, and the builder's like, wait, I remember this feeling. Just...
I haven't felt like this in so many ticks.
And since we have so much fluid, we have more fluid animation than in the actual game. We could have this kind of cool, like, as he's getting back into it, he's, stiff and scared, and, doing almost the Minecraft kind of animations. But then as he gets back into it, he's like, yes, I remember this. And he starts doing these cool, like, ridiculous moves,
Yeah, and that could also be kind of on-the-job training for Steve.
I like that, and that could kind of turn to, like, Steve's, like, watching it, and he starts kind of doing what he's seeing. And then I think that could be the turning point. So the guy's in a better mood now after getting revitalized in that sense. And he looks over and he says, you didn't do too bad, but you could use better gear.
Yeah, and then he's like, here, take this pickaxe. And you know what?
He gives him
I'm
the
gonna help
stuff,
you on your journey.
Yeah, and he goes with him.
I like that. So what's the next step?
I think after meeting the builder, I honestly think the next step should be the Nether. And I know that sounds sudden.
Really?
But we don't want to drag this out too long. Because if we drag it out too long, we're going to have this point. Well, then again, man, because should it be going after the Enderman next, do you think?
How about the builder says, all right, you need Eyes of Ender. Or maybe he's like, I know someone who has Ender Pearls, or who can help us get Ender Pearls.
Yeah.
If you... is that too samey to just go to a different person?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can jump from event to event without it getting too samey because it's supposed to be kind of high energy. The low points will be low points, but when we're talking about just the transition from one scene to the next, it can stay high energy. You can say, well, that was great. Let's go do this next thing. And then the low points are these little tiny downtimes, in between action.
Yeah, I don't think it should... It just feels like the Nomad told Steve to go to the builder, and the builder told Steve to go to the redstone guy.
What if they go out to hunt Endermen, right? Say they go out somewhere.
I like that.
The guy's like, I know exactly where we can go to hunt these things.
Yeah.
And so they go together, and they go to the desert. Because in the actual gameplay, you go to the desert.
But neither of them know how to build, like, the little too tall protection.
I don't think either of them would. But I think it would be this implication of the builder knows more than Steve does. However... the builder doesn't know everything.
Yeah, the builder's like, watch how they can teleport.
He's not even really an adventurer. He was, but he's still not,
Yeah.
I really want to have a scene where they see one off in the distance and Steve says, oh, I got this. And he pulls out a bow and arrow, right? So he's going to shoot at it. And he shoots at it, it disappears, and the builder guy's like, oh, crap, why'd you do that? Why did you do that? And it pops up, behind them.
It's like a little bit of a horror thing. Like, they don't see it. They don't know where it is. And they're like, ooh.
And we see Because, of course, we're seeing their faces, and we see above them this mouth dropping and these arms going up.
Glowing eyes.
Yeah, we see this thing basically, rearing up to attack.
I think they should be trying and failing to kill Enderman. And then, maybe, Steve's backing up, and Enderman's chasing him, and he steps on a pressure plate in the desert. And, suddenly all these traps pop up, and you see this guy with a pumpkin on his head, leap off and start slaying Enderman.
I like that. And I think the way he's slaying them would be very much redstone based.
Right, he drops an anvil on them.
He's got this little thing that drops him down, and the Enderman looking around where'd he go?
Yeah, like a dispenser pops up out of a off a piston and shoots a bunch of arrows.
It pops up an armor stand. You get the full reference of all these things that the technical builders would do.
Yeah, I like that. And then I think he'd be very distrustful, or she. They say, "What are you guys doing in my territory?" It's very distrustful.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, we need ender pearls."
We came to the desert to get ender pearls, and I think it would save us the ability of them having to farm a bunch of them. The thing would be well,
yeah, or maybe the builder and the redstone guy are talking, and Steve's looking at the Enderman corpse. And he says, "There's nothing here." And the redstone's guy's like, "Well, I got an Enderman farm." And then maybe he takes him to his base, and we see it's he's got all these farms around, and there's a villager farm, and that's why he needs emeralds. He's like, "Yeah, I can get an infinite supply of iron from these bad boys."
Mm-hmm.
My question is, does the redstone guy need to have a effect on the story other than giving them MacGuffin? Should it be? How does it change the characters of Steve or the builder?
I think the builder should know the redstone guy.
Maybe not until he takes the pumpkin off.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be this sudden moment. I think it should be the builder's I expected as much. No one but so-and-so could build all these, contraptions.
Yeah. I think maybe they used to be, server friends.
Well, they used to build together.
Yeah, it's I'd build the redstone and he'd build the building.
We could also give this representation of the build that we see the builder working on is very hollow. It looks nice on the outside, but it's hollow, and it would make for a great arena for the monster fight, but it's just kind of empty.
Yeah.
Then, underground, you've got this very rough, not good-looking, bare-bones contraptions.
Where the redstone guy lives?
Yeah, and it's all very visible. It's all, very...
It's not good-looking.
And we can imply that they were working together, and they would work better together.
Right.
But I think the redstone guy shouldn't join them. I think he should...
No, I agree. But I think maybe we bring him back at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they kind of reminisce about old times. And they all leave with a smile on their faces. So next, it's to the nether, right? What if the redstone guy and the builder both have nether portals? And there's this old connection they used to have in the nether. An old road that's been ruined and blown up by ghasts over time. But the redstone guy says, or maybe the builder says, you still got that old road in the nether? And the redstone guy says, it should be there. And so he lets them use his portal.
Yeah, and he has to light it. I think it'd be a cool little...
Yeah, and they step through the portal into the nether, and then the portal closes behind them. I know it doesn't do that in the games. But shut up.
Well, no. There's a reason we could make it do that. Gassed.
Okay.
What I'm saying is we give a reason. So, for example, they get it, and they get it and they say, okay, so we're going to find the blaze powder, get out of here, and the guy's like, well, this is really scary, and it's really spooky. And then all of a sudden, you have a gas thing, and he's like, get down, and he pushes him down, and it blows away the portal.
Or maybe it blows away the ground they're standing on, and they fall down. And then they got, they have, half a heart at that point. Not that they die, but that they're wounded, and they got to figure out, A, where the portal is back to the builder's house, and B, how to get there without dying.
Yeah.
Because they know if they die, they're going to lose all the ender pearls. So that's where that tension is.
I think the new nether would be prominent enough that we could incorporate the piglins.
Maybe the piglins have taken over a nether fortress, or maybe a piglin bastion.
Yeah, because they actually do fight the wither skeletons. That's in their AI. There's some rivalry in a very warlike fashion between these two groups.
I like that. Yeah, then the builder and Steve are the third party.
Yeah. Like there's a war. There would be like a war going on.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, and they're like waving banners and stuff.
The builder would know that the blazes are at the fortress, so they have to go there.
Maybe they have to, like in Star Wars, they have to capture a piglin and get his armor.
Well, there is gold spawns that you can mine in the Nether now. Steve, sees the gold ore and he's like, oh, I'll just mine this. And he starts mining it, and this is, I don't know, this may be too meta, but in the game, when you do that, it alerts the piglins, and they don't like that. When you mine it, they will attack you.
He's like, I got one, and then the builder's like, look over there, and it's like a bunch of piglins running at him.
I think it'd be like one or two, and they've got some gold armor. I think it could if we go the comical route, it would be, he's mining at it, and it alerts these two piglins, and they start coming over. And so you just see the builder guy ready his sword, and you get the view of the piglins, and then it cuts back to Steve. You hear slaughter going on, and Steve mines it, and he picks up, and he says, what? Just a couple of nuggets, it's like, we can't make armor out of this. And then he goes, here, and he tosses him like a helmet.
Yeah, to add to that, maybe it's like in Fellowship of the Ring, where they're hiding from the ring wraith.
Yeah.
And, so the builder's like, watch out, those are piglins up there. And then Steve doesn't know what is happening. He doesn't know what a piglet is. And he looks to his right, and he sees like gold ore, and he's like, ooh. He says, I know we need gold, and he mines it, and it sets him off.
Then I think it's the armor's given to him at that point, because the guy slaughtered the piglin.
Yeah. And then they're like in full gold armor, like in the back of the ranks of the piglins who are preparing for an assault on the Nether fortress.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
And then so they sneak through, and they find the blaze deep in the fortress. Maybe one of them gets withered. Oh, what if the builder gets withered and he dies? And he's like, find me back in the portal.
Oh, okay.
And so Steve's kind of on his own. We keep turning this into like a horror movie a little bit. Steve's on his own in another fortress.
Once again, we can go a more comical route. I think it should be, you brought up, and I know this is a weird way to tie it back into it, but you brought up Frodo, hiding from the ring wraiths. What if we kind of turn it into this kind of, remember when Frodo was running away from Boromir? And we have this thing where there's a war going on, and Steve's just kind of sneaking around stuff. He's got the blaze powder. And so now he's got to go through this combat. Let's say it had been kind of civil and cold up until they got there, and something they do related to the blazes sparks that combat. So now there's enough of a distraction.
Yeah. What if like one of them aggro's a ghast, and the ghast misses and like shoots a wither skeleton? Let me reference Lord of the Rings at least 5 more times. It's like that scene in The Two Towers where the old man shoots the arrow.
Yes, exactly.
It's like an accident, but it sets him off.
So now it does give a reason, though. It now gives a reason that Steve wouldn't have to worry so much about the wither skeletons because they're in combat with the piglins.
Well, I was going to say he's like deep in their like enemy base almost. So there's a bunch of wither skeletons around him. But what if he finds like an invisibility potion? Just to, like Lord of the Rings.
I'm not against it. I think it would be funny he uses it, and of course we know where he is. We don't even see particle effects. We just see the floating armor, Yeah.
And maybe Steve's like sneaking through, and like he's just dodged a whole patrol, and he's catching his breath. And then an arm reaches out and grabs him, and it's the Nomad. She's like, what are you doing?
I like that, yeah, because they would be the only... And he's like, what, you can see me? And she'd be like, well, you didn't take off the armor.
And then I think that's when the Nomad joins the crew.
I like that.
I think he explains. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, we're fighting the Ender Dragon." And she says, "You're still on that?"
I like that. Yeah, I think that'd be good. She's like, "Wow, if you're serious, then I guess I'll help you."
Yeah, he says something that like rallies her to the cause. So I think they head back to the builder, because the Nomad is smart, so she knows how to get back.
Yeah.
Or she finds the road. She says, "Oh, well, there's this whole system of roads back high above the Nether."
She knows how to get through, and I think we could represent that in other ways too.
And then they get back to the builder's house, and the builder's like still gearing up.
I don't know. I don't think there should be. What, do you think there should be a connection with the builder and the Nomad?
Well, they know each other.
Right.
They set that up already.
Right. But like, is it positive or more negative? Because we've already affirmed that it's going to be more positive between Redstone and Builder.
Like the Nomad and the Builder have their own things they stick to, but because of Steve, they're kind of united, and then they become friends because of their journey together. So I don't think it's hostile, but it's just kind of like, I don't know you, you don't know me. We stick to our stuff.
Gotcha. I like that.
All right, so they have enough to craft the Eyes of Ender, but I think this is where we start gearing up to go to the Griefer's fortress for whatever reason.
No, I don't think that should be the immediate next step.
What do you think the next step is?
I think a roving band of pillagers should make their appearance.
Well, it feels a little weird for them to, like, kill a pillager and then be like, we should go to a village.
Let's say when he's making his way to the builder's castle from the map, he goes through the village, but it's very basic. It's just kind of a simple village. He passes
couple of
through
houses.
So they're going to have to pass back through it to go towards, or it's the quickest way between point A and point B. They're going to pass through that village to go back to the base.
There's a road that leads back to the stronghold. Well,
So when the pillagers attack them, he kills the banner wielder or whatever, the one with the banner. So the other two freak out, and they run away. And, kind of cursing under their breath. I don't think any of them should really know. Maybe the nomad knows, that's not a good thing. They say, well, we gotta get
They're just
here.
walking through the village.
And then I think one of the pillagers...
they hear drums off in the distance.
One of the pillagers, and an arrow, shoots and hits the ground. And I think
it hits the villager.
It could be, that would be kind of dark but funny.
Well, do you think they should already be planning to go to the Griefer, or just now that they have the totem, they take advantage of it?
I think, okay, so they go through the raid, they get the totem. I think as soon as they get the totem, I know this is going to sound kind of convenient. I think as soon as they get the totem, the Griefer swoops in, quite literally with Elytra, and snatches it. Like, maybe he's really happy with it. He's like, or the nomad tells him what it is. Like, he is the one who maybe saves the village. So the builder and the nomad accept that, and they say, wow, you're already proving yourself pretty good so far. And he's like, no, I can do this. Now I know for sure I can beat the Ender Dragon. So that's his final push mentally, right?
We can set up that maybe the Griefer is somewhere near the village.
I don't like that. You could tweak this where she follows him after a certain point. And we have this not always looming, right? But she escapes. Yeah. She escapes after that, and then maybe when he's down on his luck and gets directed by the nomad, you kind of see the tips of the ends of the wings, off of some blocks or something. Something that would be distinctively, is she watching? Is she seeing this? We imply that from the beginning.
Yeah, she's been watching him.
She's been watching him. So
she just likes trolling. Maybe she pops up a few more times. Not necessarily herself, but like they go back somewhere and they see something covered in lava, and the builder is like, "Oh, it's that dirty old Griefer."
Yeah, okay, I like that. And
just so her presence continues to
loom,
permeate. What I was thinking is maybe the Griefer kills the pillager, and she starts the raid as kind of like a troll thing.
I was thinking,
but then they actually succeed. And she swoops in and steals the totem.
I like that.
Whatever the reason, and then the villager gifts the totem of him dying, and he's about to give it to Steve, and then the Griefer comes out. Wait, she's got a firework and an Elytra.
Yeah.
She swoops in and steals it away.
I like that.
And then they're like, well, crap.
She goes back off to her base at the lobby. They go back and follow. Yeah, I think to go in and get it, you get to see, kind of this mix of all of the different building habits, but not in a good way. It's just like traps and negativity and all this other stuff.
Yeah. What if they kind of recruit the Redstoner to defuse some of the traps? And he says, this is a hopper clock, so every couple of ticks.
I kind of like that. I don't dislike it, but I think we need to give more of a reason why he's back. Maybe we get to see the start of everybody coming together, and the Redstone guy is there in the lobby.
What if there's one man who knows where the base is because it's underground? I'm talking sewer guy.
I like it. I like it. I want it.
Well, that does go back into the united. Everyone's uniting against
Griefer.
Yeah, maybe Steve is down. He's like, I guess I can't do this after all. Although, I don't know. I feel like since the totem wasn't his goal from the beginning, it would be kind of weird for him to be down.
I think he realizes its importance. And thinks if he can get it back, it'll help him. It's a very valuable item. He wants it because it's a valuable item, regardless of whether or not it's going to stop him from
I feel like
defeating the
it would
Ender
be
Dragon.
more impactful if she stole the totem and the Eyes of Ender somehow. But I
Then
can't
there's
think
no
of
point in the totem existing, really.
True.
Because I think the totem should exist as an item that is valuable, and I think even the builder and the nomad should point that out. Like, you deserved this. You got it. You earned it. And that gives him another viewpoint of like, wow, I've actually been making progress.
Yeah.
He gets that boost to say, I can go defeat the Ender Dragon now, and this is going to help me, and he understands
And then
that.
she steals it and he crashes down.
And I think
But
he
everyone
feels...
at that point is like, come on, Steve, you can do it.
Yeah, he feels like he's like, I got this, and it was taken away from me. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe I can't defeat the Ender Dragon.
Yeah. I do like the fact that it's his confidence.
Yeah. That's like his whole character for the film. That's good.
I don't know. It feels... What's the word? It feels like we just kind of added in the Totem of Undying just for it to be taken away, I think maybe they should hype it up, or maybe throughout the movie people are talking about, maybe it's this rare thing, even though it's not, where it's like, yeah,
I think, yeah.
I've heard
I
legends
100% agree with that then. Or we have it where it's represented as some big heirloom of the village, And it's not like something where the village plays a huge role, but it's talked about where it's like, oh, these stupid villagers got it.
Uh-huh.
And we can't get it from them.
Yeah, it can't be stolen or something. Like, maybe it's surrounded by bedrock or just it's in the ambassador's inventory.
Yeah.
As weird as that, you
We
just
see
can't get it
on
unless you
on the
save it.
waist of one of the villagers or something,
Right.
And it's their heirloom, and it's an extremely valuable thing. And I think that would also be something that that sewer guy would mention early on, even when
Sure.
talking
Or
about
whoever-
the
yeah,
diamonds, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're getting excited about diamonds. Yeah, the real thing to get excited about would be a totem of undying. And he turns to his sewer boys, and he's like,
Yeah.
totem of undying. Now that's something.
Maybe, I was going to say at the tavern, or maybe as Steve's coming in, they're talking about the Totem of Undying.
Right.
And then they look at him and they're like, I bet a noob like you doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah, they give a little exposition, and he shows them the diamond, and they laugh at
Yeah, he's
that.
like, I got a diamond, though. And they go, that's chump change. Okay, I like that. So they go to the Griefer's Fortress. They recruit the Redstone guy. They recruit, well, maybe not recruit Sewer guy, but they ask him.
Sewer guy helps them get from point A to point B.
And obviously, there's going to be more characters that don't play as big roles as Sewer guy. Sewer guy shows them where it is. He says, yeah, I got a sewer pipe leading right through it. And then maybe they're walking, and Redstone's guy's like, stop, there's a tripwire. And like he quote unquote defuses it by cutting the string. He's like, all right, we're good. And it can be kind of like a Mission Impossible. They're sneaking in, and there's all these traps.
Yeah, there's like little redstone stuff, and so he identifies it, and is able to stop it. And then you could say there's some more combat-y stuff that the builder and the nomad have to go against together. Say
I like
there
that.
could be like a dispenser.
And the
they
redstone,
do activate
maybe,
one of the traps, and it's a dispenser that keeps dropping spawn eggs of some kind.
I like that. And I think maybe they like, Steve, go, we'll deal with this. And maybe the nomad's brewed an invisibility potion again.
Nomad makes 2 invisibility potions, both splash. Throws one at Steve, makes him invisible. Throws one at herself, and the builder's like, "What about me?" And so he's actually the one who ends up kind of fighting, and she's fighting too. But he's like actually getting the brunt of all the enemies, and he's like, "Ah!"
As long as it's Steve by himself.
Yeah, Steve runs away. They're still fighting, but the implication that it's like,
or maybe it's since it's a splash potion, it just misses the builder.
Yeah.
And so he like turns around, and everyone's gone. He's like, "What happened?"
I like that.
Anyway, Steve goes into the Griefer's Fortress, and maybe it's like really nice in there. It's decked out.
We get to see a side of building that was untouched potential.
So Steve starts looting through the chest, and the Griefer's in there, and maybe she's like pulling levers and stuff to mess with the 3 who are fighting, while Steve's sneaking in behind her.
I like that.
And then he finds the Eyes of Ender, and maybe he in the same chest he finds like a bunch of TNT.
Ooh.
And he's like, should I do it? But since he's so good-hearted, he doesn't do it.
I like that.
Shows the difference between him and the Griefer.
So after that point, do you think it's just kind of straight shot to the Ender Dragon at that point?
I think so, and I think maybe there can be a final battle while they're fighting the Ender Dragon. Maybe the Griefer shows up.
I think it should be Steve faces the Ender Dragon kind of alone. So he goes in with the intention of working with, say, the Nomad and the Builder in some way.
The whole team goes there, and the Redstone guy who has joined their party.
Maybe they end up having to take on the Griefer while he fights the Ender Dragon. So it makes it more important too.
I like that,
because then he is actually the one who's overcoming it.
While the Griefer's trying to target Steve, and then maybe she shoots him and he dies, and she's like, "Ha ha ha! I got him!" And then, psych!
Total move on dying.
And she says, "Oh no! How'd you get that?"
I like that. He does the final blow,
and then
I think in kind of a sacrificial way, we should see the other characters get knocked out one by one too by the Griefer. So in kind of the end, it's the last ditch thing. It is just Steve, the Griefer, and the Ender Dragon, and Steve makes the final blow on the Ender Dragon.
What if like the Griefer's running at him from one direction, the Ender Dragon's running at the other direction? Steve jumps out of the way, the Ender Dragon kills the Griefer, and Steve shoots the Ender Dragon.
Yeah, it's good.
Should Steve return to his dirt house and put the egg in there?
I think that would be kind of funny.
I did it.
Yeah, I think that would be really funny. So we see, I think at the end of all things, we have kind of that scene where he gets out of the portal. He's there. He sees everybody. He's got the egg.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking, and then it kind of backs out a little bit. Then we see the inside of his little dirt house. We see him set down, the egg. We could say there's like a slab for a shelf or something, and he sets it on it.
Whatever, yeah.
And then it kind of pans. He's looking at it, and he looks real good. And he looks out the window, and it pans out. And the lobby is being rebuilt.
Yeah, I think he should put the egg down, and then maybe you have a fade to black, and then just to signify time has passed, and then whatever, a new dawn breaks. He logs back in, pops back in. It's like almost a montage. You got the Builder and the Redstone guy working on the main lobby, and maybe the Nomad is building a house.
Yeah, okay.
For once. And Steve has upgraded his house, of course. He's got cobblestone in there now.
I think, that should be the whole point, is he's still not good.
He still doesn't have diamonds.
I think he could have, he's got a diamond helmet,
Got a diamond sword or something. Yeah. But it shows that the servers return to life, and maybe there's more people around.
I think that we could either have, there's 2 points that we can have. We can either have redemption arc for Griefer, which is something as simple as Builder or Redstone guy or somebody commenting on what they saw inside the base and say, look, you could start doing this, for good, instead of evil.
Or maybe when she dies to the Ender Dragon, she loses everything.
Ooh.
Not literally everything she has, but everything in her inventory, which is a lot of diamonds.
Maybe. This is going to sound bad. I want to tweak that scene. I want to tweak the scene where Steve, questions whether or not to sabotage, right? What if he already is pulled out from the chest, the TNT, right?
Yeah.
He's pocketed the Totem of Undying, and maybe he's at a different side of the room. So once again, we still have that thing where she doesn't know that he took it, right?
Yeah.
But he is looking at the TNT. It's in his hand. It's maybe floating in his hand. What I want to happen is I want the Griefer to notice that. And either notice him or notice something and get the TNT and basically accidentally sabotage herself. I want her to lose her base then. So she definitely follows them into...
Okay.
So once again, she's already lost her base. She's still got all the stuff that's in her inventory, so she's still decked out.
I like that.
But when she dies in the end,
maybe she shoots at Steve or something, and Steve or because he's invisible, she misses.
He drops the TNT. Right.
She gets real mad. She chases after him, and
that's when the final battle ensues. Right in this heat.
Yeah, maybe it's a chase.
Thing.
Steve gets out of there. They're all riding on horses and mule. And she comes after him with an elytra, and we can make the elytra slower, just just because we can.
Or the mule faster for coolness.
They get down there, jump in just in time. She follows them in, and then the fight. I think at the end, in the end, when Steve does his dodge move, and maybe we can set it up somehow, whatever. She's knocked off the edge, so there's no getting it back. Because otherwise, she could just go back.
Right. She's killed.
It's a small detail, but there'd be someone who's like, well, she's got 5 minutes.
Here's the other thing. Maybe she gets knocked and she just kind of gets flown off, and she's kind of out in the distance. She's like, well, I just got to fly back. She's angry, and then we just hear the boom, and we look back and the elytra.
Oh, her elytra breaks.
Yeah, and so she just falls. And we'd
I forgot about the elytra.
Set that up with an understanding so that even if you didn't know how that worked, you would know that it's something that could break. Heck, we could imply that with something. You got to be careful with that elytra, or something.
Right? Yeah. When they get gold armor, the builder's like, "Hey, you got to be careful. This stuff is really all armor breaks eventually."
Yeah. There we go. And we can imply that in a couple of different places where it's like all tools will eventually break. All armor breaks.
Yeah, and maybe in the base you can set it up like maybe she has a bunch of broken elytra, kind of hanging on a wall or something. And then, since we see her from behind, maybe her elytra's kind of looking tattered.
Yeah, I like that.
Just so it's like a visual effect.
Well, and since we'd be seeing when she's following them around, we could add that weathered effect over time as she's flying around following them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but just because she's flying, it might be hard to see.
I'm talking about like in
just
the
so we can
scenes where
set it
she's
up when she's
sneaking
still,
and looking over
sure.
him on the shoulder.
And so when they all come out of the portal, I like that. The builder and the redstone are like, you don't have to destroy. You could help us create. I saw the inside of your base. It was great. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think she's gonna relent. She's gonna relent at first. She's gonna be like, no,
I'm not gonna.
But then
she's
maybe
gonna be
she
like,
sees.
all right.
I kind of want to make her.
I got it. She sees the nomad, who is her sister.
No, hold on.
She says,
she sees her father,
says,
who is Captain Sparkles. No, what happens? I think she sees Steve's really crappy house and just kind of thinks, like, she just thinks to herself, like, I can do so much better than that. And she's like, okay, you know what? I'll prove it, because she's still got to have something that gives her a reason to be competitive. Because people who are griefers don't just stop being griefers. You know this.
You got a good point. But she can channel that into something different.
A competitive,
Or maybe it could be straight up, instead of building, it can be like, you could use your talents to help. And maybe we see her, she's like using TNT to like blow up a mine.
Helping sewer guy.
Yeah, and so she's kind of using her talents for good. Instead of not blowing stuff up, she's blowing stuff up differently.
Right.
Which I think works a little better, just narrative-wise.
That works fine. We can still have the building thing too. It's like we could implement it all, but it would be implemented in a quick way. I think we go back. It ends with, like you said, the scene where it's like, well, I'll see you guys, tomorrow.
See you in hell. And the Doom guy comes out. And that's the Minecraft movie.
I like it.
It's different enough from all our other movies, which is good. And it's different enough from Minecraft media.
Well, and I think it's simple enough that it could be translated into a film that could be grabbed onto somebody even if they really don't know what Minecraft is. They watch it, they understand, it's like, oh, it's about building, it's about, community, and we would have enough meta jokes in there, so it's not boring.
Right, and it's not for all the Minecraft, not even veterans, but people who played it, it's not just straight up the beginning of the game.
Right.
It's a different... So it's not like everyone knows what... It's kind of... You have these tired Minecraft players. It's not like everyone's new and excited.
It's
people. It's the harsh reality.
People who are doing the things because they're just doing it because they got nothing else to do.
Hang on. What do we call it?
I think we call it Minecraft story mode.
No.
Movie mode.
I guess Minecraft just works, I guess.
Minecraft.mov.
Minecraft.mp4.
It gets more compressed. The whole movie's just compressed.
We use that X264 codec. Let's end the show. Thanks everyone for walking through with us on this Minecraft movie. I hope you like it. I like it. I think it'll get above 55%, which is the goal.
I think you're gonna have some people who think like they're too adult for it, but they're really just the 14-year-olds who would go see it because they really, really want to see it. But they're gonna say like,
look, I love me a good
bad.
drama. I love me a good R-rated drama. You know this.
Yes,
I'd watch the heck out of this movie. If you like this, share the show.
please.
You know that's how we can get this thing to grow. Share it on iTunes, rate it on iTunes. We're also on Spotify. And basically, wherever you can find podcasts, we're there. Just search Speculation Station.
If you want to find all of our works in one place, you can go to Speculative Reelism. That's realism with 2 E's.com.
Like a film reel.
Yeah,
Get
see? It's funny.
Yeah, on the website, we also have a link to our Patreon, which you can help support the show and help us keep doing what we are doing.
Make sure to send us your game/movie ideas and tell us what you think about this one.
What's the email?
You can reach us at speculativerealism@gmail.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below.
Yeah, we read them all. We are also on social media. We mostly use Twitter, which is going to be @SpecReel. That's real, like a film reel. Follow us on there. We'll keep you updated about all the shows we got under our metaphorical 32 waist belt. And yeah. So, looks like we're going to head off here. We are departing from the Speculation Station.
And we'll see you at the next stop.
Choo-choo.
Bye.